So an update just dropped to F125 then, which is a little handling tweak. Now what they've done is they've slightly increased the front ride height, and they've also made the effect of bottoming out less friction. You lose less speed by bottoming out now. I think they're saying that apparently that's one of the ways that the AI had a big advantage over the player. I remain unconvinced, but what I've done here is I've not updated my game yet. We're going to do a couple of baseline tests, then we're going to do a couple of tests on the new version and see exactly what it's changed both for the player and for the AI. Let's do it. So, I guess it doesn't matter. We'll put equal car performance on, but we'll take a car that probably won't be up there. And we'll take maybe Stroll's car. 5-lap race with a one-shot quali. So for this one, we're going to run a custom, run the VSC setup. Right, I'm going to have a couple of goes at this, just to make sure I get a half-decent lap in. There's a big bump in these next couple of corners that the AI don't seem to suffer from. There's a big bump there. And there's another one, like, just generally in that corner, to be honest. My current theory is the player has bottoming out like normal, but the AI doesn't. It's one of the things they don't simulate to save resources. So then they've realised with the player bottoming out a lot, it's shafting the player. I think that's what's happening. So in theory, if my logic is right, the AI won't be affected at all by this. Better, innit? Get that shit in Apex. Give a style and exit. We managed that quite well. You can hear the bottoming out. Somehow it was legal. No idea how. 4.5, 3.9, 6/10 foul lap on that. Do you know what? I'm just going to leave it there. We don't want to spend all day sweating this. So it's still a 5-lap race here. See if it's any different in the race. Expect not. So this next corner is one of the ones that I think the player's affected by more than the AI. Well, the car does move around over that bump. Just talking about his car move there. Again, look, the car is moving. I just wonder if their actual physics is affected by that particularly or not really. Go on, Nico, let's be having ya.
Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race.
See you later, buddy. This car does bounce. To be fair, when I've driven this before, maybe it's me adapting to the track. So when I've driven this before, I've really felt like I'm losing loads through there because of bouncing, and they're not. What's going on? AI must be less effective. But to be honest, I'm not really seeing that this time. I think it may have been lack of practice to me previously. The meta is to just go deep into there. I think previously what I was doing is I was braking too early, and I was back on the throttle hitting these bumps. Yeah, there you go. More like that, like you see. Washing out wide, understeering. Defend. And you go for a defense.
Okay, final lap. Let's go. Final lap.
See you later. Is he going deep? Right on throttle like that. Yeah, he does react more to the curb when you're only on throttle. That was a me issue, not an AI issue. That's interesting. I think we're okay. Are we okay? Oh my sweet baby Jesus. We are okay. We've got TRS as well. Well, that was not as easy as I thought it would be. Yeah, I mean, other than lap times and top speeds, not much to note there. All right, default setup race. Let's see what the straight line speed's like. Nice. Start. So default setup, running all the battery. A little bit quicker, but not crazy quicker. Absolutely went for that. Just floored it.
Yeah, push.
To be honest, their straight line speed doesn't seem too insane to me at this track. I think this change might impact my team more. Because I have noticed they're ridiculous in my team. But again, it's the start of the straight, it's not the end of the straight. So it doesn't really make any sense. Classic Alonso that, making a big mistake, allowing Stroll the beast through. This one, they're so good, in particular on the exit turn car. I tried. So, definitely challenging at Miami, but the straight line speed doesn't seem insane to me. It's decent. Not insane, which again is very different to career mode. Remember, this is default setup. Yeah, just again, leaping off the corner is the issue. And it's the same with my team. It's the fact they leap off the corner. It's not anything to do with anything else. Oh, what a move! What a move! Before P2. Yeah, again, what I can see so far, having better head in the straight line speed isn't really going to help. On Baku, yeah, all right. Let's do a real quick test at Baku. What is our top speed at the end of the straight without DRS? Default setup. Now you can hear the bottoming. No DRS. 324. That's our VMAX. We'll then pop on the VSE setup, see what that does, and then we'll run minimum ride height, and then we'll update the game. 325. Actually, it might accelerate slightly to go off track. It does, yeah, because it's a bit smoother. It stops bottoming out. All right, so basically the same. Well, what was default? Increased top speed, I would guess. Everything else default. And let's see how that does. All we've done is change the. You can hear it bottoming out already. The ride height. If we soften the suspension as well, that'll allow it to bottom out even more. But this is fine. You see, we're struggling with straight line speed already. 312. Acceleration when we go off track, I suspect. Yeah, quite a lot of acceleration. See that? That's different to the bottoming out. So let's go update the game. I think that's all the stuff we need. I think that's it. There you go. Thank you, Fish the First. Appreciate that. So, default setup. Previously, we got to 324k. That was our VMAX before, with default. And accelerated slightly in the off-track. So, it bottomed out about when the DRS zone started. We didn't open DRS, but it did bottom out about when DRS zone started. But listen. There is none, and we are going quicker. There is no bottoming out in default setup anymore. And we didn't accelerate at all in the off-track. Did you see that? So we were about 3k quicker in a straight there, with no noise of bottoming out whatsoever. This is the VSE setup, which topped out at 325k. And even if they've changed default setups, we know this hasn't changed, unless they've changed the setup windows, setup parameters, but I don't think they have. I think the file I just looked at, it would show it. Bottoming out, 1k. And no further acceleration off track again. So the reason that was a smaller difference, I believe, is because obviously it's a setup shop setup. You'd hope it's well optimized, and it is. So it wasn't really being held back by the bottoming out. It was, but by like this much. It was being held back by the wing level, whereas the default setup was being held back by the bottoming out, which is interesting. But let's go back now to the default, but slam down the ride height. Now this we topped out at 312, much lower this time. This will be the biggest difference, because this we know is being massively limited to the tune of about 20k by the bottom. Okay, you can still hear it here, so it's still happening. They haven't completely got rid of it. 312k is what we got to before. We're already through that. 318, I think we might get to maybe. Will it accelerate off the track though? Yes. Or was it 317? It's about 5k. So yes, they have reduced that effect. So in theory now, you could choose to bottom out more and not be impacted so much by the drag. The VSE setup, for example, we saw that went from 325k to 326k. Not a lot. You're probably better off then dropping the ride height by a little bit to get better performance in the corners and dropping that 1k at the end of straight. It's nothing. You know what I mean? So probably it is a case of dropping the ride height, because we saw both with that setup and the previous setup, they didn't accelerate at all on the off track. So they weren't being held back by bottoming. So now let's go back to these tracks and see if this racing is any different. Oh, it's so much better through there. My word. You don't get the horrible understeer induced by bottoming out anymore. Oh my god, that's night and day through there. That's night and day. That crest is less bad as well. I think on this track it's probably a bit quicker. On the tracks where bottoming out is an issue, i.e. bumps, curbs, anything like that, or if you happen to run a setup that was very low and was scraping at the end of the straight was affecting you, this change, you'll be quicker. But AI, they're the same. Oh, it's just... That's mad. It feels like I've been given a lot more grip for those corners, because I basically have, because the car's not bottoming out anymore over those crests and robbing me of a downforce. But it's a bigger difference than I expected through there, honestly. And this corner's less annoying as well on that braking point. Oh, this has gone for it. Just managed to squeeze him out of it. Again, it's really similar, like big gap at the start of these DRS straights, and by the end of them we're bypassing them. Really similar to what it was before. I guess it's a slight improvement. Bottoming out a little bit less, so you've got a bit more grip. But I'm only saying that as a driver, you know? Like, obviously I want to lose less straight line speed because of bottoming out, and I want to bottom out less in the corners so I have more downforce. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, of course that's a popular change. All for balance for casuals getting destroyed on some tracks. Like, yeah, I guess. Like, it's meant to be an accessible game, so yeah. I guess so. I guess it's good. Anyway, this is default setup. Let's see how this is. I guess I'm just a bit confused. Why this change? Why now? Do you know what I mean? Of all the things that we've been asking for, like, they're way too quick in the wet, and they're terrible on corner entry, and overall they still need to be quicker. Of all the things to change about the game to make supposed AI racing better, or even the handling, why this change? Yeah, people have been complaining that AI way too quick in a straight, but again, the issue isn't the end of speed straight. The issue isn't that they're rapid, that they've got better top speed. That never was the issue. That's why I'm a bit confused, because the issue is their exits and stuff, and their lack of dirty air. That's what that's caused by, and maybe they've got a slight ERS advantage over the player as well, possibly. That's what that's caused by, not by. It's never been caused by the bottoming. I just feel like this is a workaround, not a fix. Do you know what I mean? That's why I'm really puzzling it. I think they've gone, well, all right, the player's got some bottoming at the end of the straight. If we stop the player bottoming,
DRS is now available.
give them a bit more straight line speed, maybe that'll make them happy without needing to make proper changes. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's almost what this feels like. To the wall again. That's definitely easier, because your car bottoms out less over the apex. But any different? It definitely feels to some extent different. It's just very subtle. Again, it's just slightly easier. It's a slightly easier game to drive. So, if that's the sort of thing you like, then
Final lap. Push,
potentially a good thing. Honestly, I'm relatively different. I'm just surprised they're bidding this as a change to help battle the AI, because that's not how I see it at all. Look how much they get on the exit. There is issues with AI. Player bottoming out at the end of the straight is not one of them. In fact, I'll show you here. Look, I've got a bit, not a lot of battery, but I've got a bit of battery. I'm all over Norris. Got DRS. He hasn't got DRS. It's about everything we got, and see if we can get him. Lost time on the exit, despite using everything. He's also low on battery. I've got DRS. Here we go. Now I'm gaining. Oh my sweet baby, moving and braking. Nice Lando. You've been racing max too much, you up, buddy. But yeah, yeah. I think this might be a sticking plaster, honestly. I think this might be people moaning about AI straight line speed. Let's do something to try and maybe help, because we can't fix the fundamental issues either at all or very quickly. I think that's what this update is. So, yeah. Don't worry too much about it. It's not going to do much. It just will mean that the setup shops are going to be updating and making the setups a little bit lower. If you run your own setups, lower them slightly. Don't know by how much, but just lower them a little bit. And you can take a bit more curb now. That's about it. Like, incredibly minor. Don't know why they build it as an AI racing change. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to drop a sub if you haven't already, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.